guys, Tech Asian, we're back with more vintage headphones. Before I get on, again, I am sorry for the lack of content. At this point, it feels like I'm in a divorce with you guys, and I'm like this, the father that just shows up like after 3 or 4 months, expecting everything to be okay. I feel like the situation we are in right now is similar to that. So, again, I'm very sorry. One day, you guys will understand what I've been up to, and you will understand the lack of content. But for now, I'm quite sorry, but today we have the AKG K240. Well, it's a K280, but it's a K240. This is again the long list of K240 derivative headphones of the K240 made by AKG in the 80s, 90s, whatever. This is again a very bizarre headphone because it's a quadraphonic headphone. It's called the AKG K280 Parabolic. Now, the term parabolic is derived from a mathematical term called parabola, which is the graphical representation of a quadratic equation, and the quadratic term is derived from a Greek word called quadratrum, which means square of something. So I'm assuming, again, this is just guesswork at this point, that since it is having two drivers, a quadraphonic headphone, the name AKG used, the deep meaning behind the name parabolic is that. Again, I could be wrong. You can correct me, or if I'm just getting too deep, or if it's just a stupid assumption I made, but that's what my research tells me. So this is the AKG K280 Parabolic. Now, the K280 was launched in 1987 approximately, and it was a complete failure, which is no surprise because all quadraphonic headphones were a failure, which is no surprise again because quadraphonic itself was a failure. Now, it really surprises me how one of the most, you can say, prolific manufacturers such as AKG, Biodynamic, they launched quadraphonic headphones in the time, thinking that it's a mode of it's a method of playback that will become famous, because technically it is completely flawed. Forget headphones, not even for speakers it was any good. So it is quite surprising that manufacturers such as AKG made the K280s. Biodynamic made the DD204, which is again a quadraphonic headphone. Sennheiser surprisingly did not make a quadraphonic headphone, so I think Sennheiser was the only smart guy that thought this was just a bubble that is just gonna burst one day. And sure enough, quadraphonic was a commercial failure, which is due to many technical reasons of quadraphonic. The first reason of failure being external decoding. Independent 4-channel playback was again not there, to be honest. Only some methods of playback such as 8-track and reel-to-reel players could play back discrete independent 4-channel audio. The most abundant, or most, you can say, common method of playback of audio, such as vinyl records at the time, did not have independent 4-channel. So it was the input, like this incoming signal was 4-channel, which was encoded into 2-channel and again decoded back to 4-channel. So it just wasn't any good. So it was a commercial failure because of that. Now, a workaround for the vinyl record thing came in the future, a bit too late. By the time quadraphonic was dead, it was called Ultra Disc or something like that, which was launched by RCA, which had discrete 4-channel grooves on your vinyl record. So you are playing discrete 4-channel audio. But again, by the time that came, quadraphonic was completely dead, and the format was just headed to failure. So now a discrete quadraphonic will produce LF, LB, RF, RB, which is left front, left back, right back 4-channel audio. Now that is completely wrong for speakers. Forget speakers, but for headphones it was abysmal. The concept itself was just stupid, and the fact that people made quadraphonic headphones was just, it blows my mind to think headphone engineers at the time would approve something like this, because any headphone engineer currently knows what a stupid thing that was. So as a method of format for listening to headphones, it was a failure, but it is quite striking that AKG made this headphone. So did Biodynamic, so did many Japanese manufacturers, but not Sennheiser. So, again, a good example of what Sennheiser was doing at the time. They were smart enough to know that this was a completely stupid idea, and it didn't make any sense to make a headphone, for it. So the K280 is a fascinating headphone because of that simple reason. Now, since it is having 4 drivers, the impedance again very big concern, because if you guys know, the K240s at the time were all 600 ohm impedance headphones. So this headphone is 75 ohm impedance. So that again leads to the efficiency of these drivers compared to the K240s at the time. It's a fascinating headphone if you ask me, but again quite interesting that AKG would approve something like this. It blows my mind. But anyway, the 80s was an interesting time. Surround sound was the hot new topic at the time, and when it came to listening to music, and quadraphonic was just one of those formats that was trying to capitalize on the market. But unfortunately, it was just a failure because of the technical reasons. It was a stupid idea. But it's fascinating that headphones, were trying to take advantage of the new playback, even though it's a completely flawed system for headphones and the way localization happens with headphones. So it's a fascinating time in the 80s, and AKG made the K280. So this is one of the coolest and one of the most bizarre headphones in my collection, definitely. But it's fascinating nonetheless, and I think it's just weird. It's a weird headphone, but I like it. I'll see you guys next time with more vintage headphones. Take it easy, and like always, have a good one. Alright.